What's up, squad? It's your girl, Stephanie.
It's Steph, and we're back again with another fire video.
Welcome back to the channel, guys.
Alright guys, before we get into anything, please make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and make sure you turn your post notification bell on. Boom!
Let's get into it.
I would say we live in this thing, but it's not so lit. As you can tell by the title, we have I would say a more serious life update. So, you know, we just wanted to share with you guys because you guys are family too. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm already tearing up, but we haven't even started the story yet.
We have not started the story yet.
No. I will let you start it because I think that if I start telling it, I will end up not being able to make it all the way. So we're gonna let Steph tell the story.
It's not just telling the story. It's just kind of explaining, you know, I guess what happened, how we are where we are right now.
Yeah.
We're not getting a divorce, so don't start there.
No. Oh God.
But
knock on wood.
no. But yeah, as you can tell by the title, just more someone that we lost, very dear to us. So I don't know if you guys remember, but we actually had 2 dogs. And so more often, you probably just see the one dog. But
Which, you know,
she's hanging out, always hiding. Oh, her face is here.
Yeah.
I think right here.
Okay.
No one can see you. So Sky is about to be 7 in October. And we had another dog, and he was actually, you guys have to remember, he was like 2 times her size. He was like 2 times her size. He was like, I think we had him from him being 7 weeks to him being 1.5 years. You know, obviously, for us, we always had the one dog, and then it was just important for us when we actually had got our house and all that, to add another fur baby to the mix, which we did. But on April 18th, actually, we had to put our other fur baby down. And so that's been really hard for us. You know, we've definitely, I think, been wanting to talk to you guys about it, but we've just kind of, not like in denial or anything, but I think it's just for us, it's just pretty hard. I know Stephanie took it really, really hard. Not that I take it any less, but I think just for her, it was really hard. Because when I got him as like a baby gift for her. She picked him out. You know, so for her, it was a gift for her. You know, I brought him home to her. She slept with him all night.
I sure did.
You know, I remember even on the ride home with him, I was like, oh, this is definitely your dog, because he was like whiny, and then he just wouldn't shut up in the car. And I put him on my lap while I was driving, and his big ass went to sleep. It was like, he weighed so much. He was so dense. Like, he was like this small, but like dense as hell.
With huge paws and a big head.
Huge paws, big old head.
But that ended up being that dog went everywhere with her, like by her side all the time. If we were inside the house and she was doing something, he was always behind her.
He just like to get on my nerves. No, for sure. But yeah, I don't. He likes sleeping with me, but and as you guys know, so Bane was actually our other dog, and so we had added Bane to our family. So it would have been, we got our house in 2020. So we got Bane in 2021, March 2021.
Correct.
Yep, March 2021. I think March like 7th or 3rd or something like that, of 2021. And we had him all this time, really, until, like I said, April 18th of 2023. Yeah, that's the year we're in now. We had to put our dog down, which was sucked, you know. sucked for sure. Kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird because, like I said, we're just kind of in this weird place where we never really talk about it.
We're still mourning.
I think so, yeah. You know, we're grieving. You know, I want to say I mourn, you know, death because, you know, I don't think energy is like created nor destroyed. That makes sense, really. You can, or maybe create energy, but I definitely don't think you can destroy energy. So I don't feel like I'm mourning him myself. I feel like grieving, but I always try to find solace in that he's like in a better place, and definitely feeling better in doggy land of some sort. So but grieving for sure.
So starting off with what happened, so when Bane was a baby, he got attacked by another dog, and it was crazy. It was very much so like we had no idea what was going to happen. Thanks to Steph, we took him right away to the emergency room, and the doctors were very much so like, we don't know like what to do.
One doctor.
Sorry,
yeah.
One doctor was like, we don't know what to do. Like, it was just, I think because he was so little, they were trying to figure out like what all the damage was. So in that moment, we kind of only found out that it would possibly be that his jaw was broken and possibly a skull fracture. But it wasn't secure.
No skull fracture.
No skull fracture, I'm sorry.
At the time, they said that he didn't have skull fracture, but he probably had some jaw fracture, but they couldn't tell because the trauma, it was just so swollen. So like all the trauma and fluid and stuff on the inside, they just couldn't tell how bad it was until he would have like cleared up a little bit better, because I guess, like I said, all the tissue there and stuff, they're just like, we can't tell, but definitely they said definitely no skull fracture at the time.
After the emergency room and the doctor,
emergency vet,
we came back home, and Steph quickly cleaned out as many wounds that she saw on him to basically relieve the areas of anything that was going on. And he was so swollen, like even though he was so tiny, it was like everything was so swollen on him.
Yeah.
And we weren't even sure, like, he was in so much pain. One, you could see it on him. And then two, we weren't really sure if there was anything else that could have been possibly missed because of all the trauma and all the swelling and everything that was going on. Again, thanks to Steph and her cleaning out the wounds and tending to him, I don't think Bane would have survived within those first few like days to the week. So we kept seeing that like his jaw was swollen, he had like a little lump on his chest area, and then his head was super swollen. Like there was one side of his face that was just way more swollen than the other side. And it just never looked like it was changing. It was still very swollen and still like, I couldn't even explain it. Like it was taking on water.
It was changing. The thing is, when he was healing, the rest of his face was going down, except for like that one spot by his jaw. But then we noticed that his head though was healing, but almost like loppy at the top. Like there was like this little weird loppy bump, whatever. So obviously through all this stuff, he was having follow-ups, just to be clear. So it was, follow up, take them, let's see how the wounds are doing, make sure he doesn't have any infections, see, about re-upping his meds, things like that. So he had follow-ups for months, because normally follow-ups are like 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So that was a couple of the issues, seeing, stitches, anything like that. So he was going down. It was just he had that one lump right by his jaw, and then he had the lopsidedness at his head, but his head wasn't swell. It was all going down, because it was weird, because at first you couldn't tell, because his head, his jaw, everything was kind of just one big swell ball. But as everything started healing and everything started coming down, it was just those two areas. Well, that's what we could tell his head was actually like almost like there was like a lop there. And then on his face, the part that wouldn't go down on his face, he had like a huge ball next to his jaw, which we found out later was like his salivary gland that like was like moved up in almost into his mouth instead of like down here or wherever the heck it was supposed to be. So that's what happened with the swelling part. We went to the vet. We explained to them, hey, this one won't go down. I think by this time he was like 6 months, because it's like a couple months later. So now he's like 6, maybe 7 months, and we're like, listen, it's just like this one part that just, you know, it looks like, you know, he opens his mouth and stuff, but it looks like it bothers him a bit, and the swelling won't go down. They decided that maybe they would do like a biopsy thing. So they did they took the, like, you know, put a needle in his face and did a biopsy, sent it out to make sure that there wasn't any kind of weird like tumor thing that developed. And then also they took blood work to see if he had any liver damage, because that was possible to why his face was all like that one part wouldn't go down. But then the liver test stuff came back that he was fine. I think his liver enzyme stuff was like a little bit abnormal, but they were like slightly, and it just could be due to him still like kind of healing. So we did that, and then we did the biopsy thing. Biopsy came back like negative like a week or two later, and then I think we redid the blood test. We checked again, and then his blood was, oh no, when his liver stuff was a little high, they put him on some more like antibiotics or like liver medication. And then we went back and did blood work, and then his liver stuff had went down. And actually the little swelling, it went down by that time, because then now we're talking about another 3 weeks to a month later. So by the time that he was like 8 months-ish, it actually came down, the little ball. Remember, we're like, oh, okay, good. Oh my God, he's finally looking like normal. But then his face started growing, because he just grew rapidly, because Bane was like 110 pounds. So he was growing rapidly. I think maybe it was going down, or maybe we thought it was going down because he was just growing. So he was just like big in the face anyway. Like he just had a big ass head. So, and I mean, big head. Like if he even, like there's a couple times he was like smash into my head.
Oh my
and
God,
I'm
he
like,
almost broke my nose one time from his head just playing
I
around.
will kill you here, dog. Stop smashing your big head into me. But yeah, so his head was just so big and dense, just to give you the idea. So I don't know if it really was going down, or if it just looked like it. I know the vet thought it was going down. But maybe it's his face was just so damn big that it just masked.
Could be, yeah.
Masked it. But that's what happened before anything. And then he was healing by that time. We took him to the dental specialist when his mouth started closing.
Oh yes, yes. We noticed that his mouth was closing. It was harder. Like he would yawn, and it seemed painful for him to yawn. Or like we would, like if he had a toy, it would be hard for him to open his mouth for a toy that was just not big enough for the area that he could open up to. And we just started noticing those things. We're like, wow, he could eat and drink just fine. But it was the fact of like the yawn, you could see it was so painful for him to yawn and to play with toys.
Like the big toys.
The big toys. So
he still tried though.
He sure did. And so we took him to the dental vet, and they basically said that his jaw was fractured during the incident, and that it healed incorrectly.
Right.
So they're basically saying
it was still growing, so technically it was still healing.
Yes.
Because he was still growing, but that's what they were saying, yeah. Like he was still rapid growth in him. Because we were like, nah, he was fine.
Yeah.
And then obviously because we were taking him to a vet all the time. But then it was just like that.
It changed very, very fast. And so they told us, they're like, we would have to basically break his jaw again to even figure out what's going on there. And there's no real guarantee to see if his jaw will go back to 100% normal. We could do the surgery, and it could either go back to the same or worse, or possibly better. So they were just basically, they sent us home and they're like, just watch him, see how it goes, if he can eat and drink and just be fine.
Yeah, or think about if we wanted to do the surgery, because the surgery was going to be like, and actually it wasn't even surgery yet. They said that, so pretty much it was like $7,000 to even see how bad it was. And so at first I was even thinking, okay, so this is how much it was for surgery, but it wasn't. It was to exploratorily check how bad the damage was to his mouth and to his jaw. And then they were gonna like put a trach in his throat because they couldn't get in his mouth correctly to be able to still like open it all the way wide and put like the trach tube in there. So they were gonna like put a tube in his throat, and all that would have been just to check to see how bad the damage was. That it wouldn't even have been surgery day or anything. And so for us, I think it was just a big decision. Do we even want to, you know, spend this amount of money? And then she was saying immediately, even after that, if he has surgery, that, like Stephanie said, it could go well, it could stay the same, or it could actually get worse, because like she was saying, the surgery would have been, once they see how bad the stuff, it was, she was pretty much saying inevitably though, no matter what, the surgery would essentially entail breaking his jaw to reconstruct it. And so he may or may not have gotten full like motor skills, right? So it's like he'd have a flappy jaw and not be able to actually even close his mouth. So then we would have had to like feed him for like ever, or, you know, decide, okay, well, do we want to leave it the same? And as long as it's fine, he's growing, it is what it is. He's just kind of going to be that impaired like that for forever. Yeah. Which I think at the time we felt like maybe that was the best decision. At the time, yeah, we felt like maybe that was the best decision overall, just because they weren't 100% sure. And I think it was like a lot of frustration from repeatedly going to the vet and them saying he was fine, and it was just like a healing. The initial x-rays like being read incorrectly, multiple x-rays, because we took 2 sets of x-rays. We even got a consult from a doctor that I knew down in South Florida, or a vet that I knew down in South Florida. So we went through a lot with that process. So we were like, shoot, like, you know, let's just maybe just leave it, you know, and just kind of watch him and see where it goes.
Yeah. And we did. So after
full transparency, guys. I mean, this is what, you know,
we didn't.
This is life.
Know,
like,
yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. We were trying our best as much as we could.
Neither did the vets.
Yeah, and honestly, like, we didn't have a good understanding as to how bad he was. And I think that we tried our hardest.
Even just their reassurance, though. It was like, well, we honestly don't even know how the surgery is going to go. And and that was another thing. We were going to have to spend another 10 to 15 grand for the surgery itself, because as I mentioned, the 7 was just a check to see how bad it was. And they said the surgery could be minimum still about 10, average maybe up to like 15, worst case like another 20 grand. And it's like,
and that's just basing it off of, we don't know, but this it was so many like either this or this or this, and we we didn't know what to do, and we weren't also getting really that many answers. And my wife asked all the questions. Like, it's never really we left and still had something. No, we went there we used to sit up at night. If we knew we had a vet visit, we would literally write down notes and have notes in our phone of questions and questions and questions, because, you know, when you're in that moment, sometimes you forget, or sometimes you're like taking in the information and trying to make sure that you understand, but at the same time, you don't want to miss any questions. You don't want to miss anything that could possibly not be answered. And when I tell you, we used to ask every question we could think of.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So, so after that, we kind of, like, I wouldn't say stopped going to the doctor. We stopped going as often. So we basically just let him be if there was a checkup, because
we stopped going because that was the option. It was like, okay, we'll just stay and see if it gets worse. And he didn't get worse. And we just took him to his normal. He got his normal annual vaccines, just like her. You know, they went to normal doctor visits and stuff, and there was no more like talk really about the jaw, because it was just like, okay, you know, it's just gonna have to be that. And then as far as his head, that was, they weren't even going to touch that.
No,
because they were like, you know, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
it is what it is. And honestly, they were saying that there would have been nothing we could have done at the time anyway, because him being so young when it happened, and then his body developing and growing, you don't know what breaking his jaw or anything would have. Well, the head fracture was a head fracture. That was like done. But with the jaw thing, they were like, well, even doing a surgery young, like right at 4 weeks, or 4 months when it happened, that may not have made a difference, because he was just so small, and because he's such a big dog and he had to grow so much, it was like, it's like doing like a crazy surgery. They were saying like, you know, like, so how sometimes they make children wait like in order for them to do surgeries until that body part has grown a little bit, because it being so underdeveloped, you don't know how it's gonna grow and heal. So that's what they were using, you know, using that as an example. Not saying, you know, as kids, I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm just using that as an example because that's what they were telling us. Like it's just that same. So it's like, I don't know, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah.
So many. It just seemed like so many odds were against him, and the situation, it kind of like, it happened, and so we kind of just had to deal with it. It was like pretty much like, oh my God, thank God, you know, or he didn't, you know, die at the time, or that they were even like, they were surprised. As bad as it, even like later doctors who seen his charts and his x-rays and stuff, they were just like, I can't even believe this dog made it.
Yeah.
You know, but
we can't believe that he's been eating, and
we always got that he was eating.
He was eating, and how big he got. We always got that. They're like, how is he this big? Like, we don't even know.
He still eats.
Yeah, he would eat
every little kibble.
Bane would eat like, if you gave him his food, he would move his plate to find the last kibble that he had in his plate. Didn't matter. By
moving, we mean head butt his plate over to find it. So
he would do. So after that doctor's visit, we kind of just lived with him. We lived with him. He was the happiest dog. He loved being, you know, with his sister, and you know, like, they were inseparable. So
doggy fighting, love-hate relationship and all.
All of that. But he was so happy. He, like, you know, he was a great dog. Like, everything was going great until it wasn't. So this year, it was around, I want to say the beginning of March, we started noticing that his mouth was severely closing. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I want to say it was March.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Because this was already something that we were thinking about during your birthday. So we started noticing that his mouth was closing even more.
End of March.
End of March, you're right. So it was starting to close a little bit more, and we started noticing that, like, the way he was eating, it was like, if he was trying to, like,
he was muddling the food.
He was muddling the food, and he was like
mouth,
scraping the bowl to get the food into his mouth. And so we're like, what the heck is, like, what's going on, man? Like, why are you eating? And it would take him twice as long to eat his food.
Yeah, so we noticed that for a couple of days, and we were like, shoot, maybe we should make a vet appointment. And then I was trying to make a damn vet appointment for some reason. At that time, it was every vet was super busy, so then we had to like wait. So we made an appointment, but it was for like 2 days later. So let's just say we noticed that on like a Wednesday or Thursday, I think. I made that appointment, and then we got an appointment like on Monday. But oddly enough, by that weekend, that Sunday, that night before our appointment, he was like one day we noticed blood in his food. And then we were like, what the heck? So I like cleaned his mouth out. I tried to scrape it with a towel as much as I could. I tried to like open it as much as I could, like, to see. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I wonder if his tooth is going in his mouth, or we were like just kind of like
panicking,
freaking out a little bit. And so we took him to the vet.
And when we took him to the vet, they were like, kind of like trying to figure out like where the blood was coming from, and we told them that he can't open his mouth, and we made it very, very clear.
Told them the whole story. We brought all his charts, because you know he has charts of stuff. So we brought everything over. They read all the notes. I think they did everything, and then they we told him clearly, yeah, that we wanted to open his mouth, but we can't because of the situation. But the doctor was like, okay, well, maybe if we sedate him, we could open his mouth to see what was going on. And so we dropped him off at the vet, left him there all day, and they sedated him, did x-rays and stuff. Could not open his mouth, as we had mentioned. And actually, it was worse because I was like, well, maybe, but I was hopeful because I was like, oh, maybe if they could open his mouth, not like all the way like that, but at least to be able to see, like, maybe it was something that was bothering him. But in actuality, he actually developed like lockjaw, and so his mouth had actually shut more.
And at this point, we looked at each other like, well, now what? You know, it was a very much so. Yeah, we were like, what do we do? You know, and at this point too, we were like Steph said, we were hopeful maybe during the time that they, you know, sedate him, they'd be able to open and kind of see something. So now we were back again at square one. What we felt like of, what are we gonna do about Bane's jaw? Like, he has to eat, he has to be able to drink water, like what?
This time I wouldn't even say it was about feeling. It was about what the doctor was saying.
Yes.
The doctor was saying that his jaw was locked. And he said, there's not a surgery or nothing we can do, essentially, to help him. He was like, I could recommend you right back to that, you know, dental specialist or oral specialist that you went to. But the problem was that he was just like, you know, back to what she said, like, there's like a 30% chance that he'll actually be able to get that full motor function in his mouth. And the doctor was just like, you know, so I asked him, like, damn, you know, I don't know what to do, what should we do? And he was like, you know, you want me to give you the real? You know, he's a black guy, nice, you know, black people. You want me to give you the real? I'm like, yep. He's like, if you were my sister, I would tell you that you need to say goodbye. That was what he said. And I was like, damn. I'm like, so nothing. He was like, it's just, he was pretty much like, you know, you would spend all that money, you know, to do what exactly? You know, like, it, and then he was like, even if he does gain motor function, he was like, you know, his mouth could always, he was like saying it could always shut again, which was like crazy to me, because, you know, when humans have like reconstructive jaw surgery or something, like, you know what I'm saying, they get it, you know, big jaw, little jaw people, whatever, they get these jaw surgeries and it's fine, you know, they're like, not that they're always fine, but people get reconstructive jaw surgery and that shit works for people. So it's just like, well, why can't it work for a dog? And I guess it's just different, and maybe because, like, you can't train a dog therapy, you know, like, you know, with humans, they have, like, mouth therapy and stuff, like, and I guess with the dogs, like, it's just, you'd have to train him to understand his dog therapy, and, he was just like, but he, you know, tried to give us a little bit of fake hope. I think it was for us, not for him, not because he already knew, but he was just like, look, well, let's send him home with some meds, do this and that, and then let's see in a week if that works or if that gets better, maybe at least to get his mouth back to what it was before, which was the goal. I didn't think that nothing else was gonna crazy was gonna happen. I'm like, I need his mouth to go back. He's been eating, he's been playing with toys, he played and ate up until
2 days prior.
No, all the way.
No, he stopped drinking and eating, remember?
Oh, yeah. But then we started making it like mushy. Because then we started making the food mushy, but he would still eat it.
Yeah.
He wasn't drinking water as much because he was just like not in the mood, and then he just seemed like a little bit tired, but he still had like massive energy. Yeah. So just like a little bit more tired than normal, but then he was losing weight because that's the thing that too, even like that week or when everything was happening, they were like mushy up the food, and
I don't think he liked that.
Nah, he really didn't. He would just get so frustrated.
Yeah. He would walk away from his food.
Then
come back like later. And
yeah, I would go back with him. Remember, I even put some in my hand, and then when I put it up to his mouth, and then he was kind of like feeling a little bit better about that. He was just like I'm not with this stuff. Like I said, it's crazy because his energy was like up. He never like lost energy or in nothing, but he did like not want to eat that mushy ass food. He wasn't into it. Flavor probably wasn't even for him.
It was watered down. His food was watered down. Dude.
I should have gave him cake.
No, on the day that we knew that was gonna be his last day, he got everything.
He got everything he wanted.
Everything he wanted.
Because he really ate little strawberries and stuff. Well, normally the dogs eat fruits and stuff anyway, but he got mushed up with little berries. He loved that.
We took him for a car ride. He loved a car ride. We took him to work with us that day.
Oh yeah.
Because
needless to say, skipping over, the last week of the meds that the doctor was suggesting, or the week with the antibiotics and the pain medication, it didn't help anything. And actually, he would start bleeding out his mouth even more, which told us that something was definitely obstructing his gums or something. But no one ever knows. Never found out what it was. And then when they did the X-rays, the vet was saying he could see something, but he couldn't tell if it was like a tooth or a piece of bark, or he was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, nothing was able to. We kind of had to do what we had to do. Yeah. So, on the last day was it was very hard. Yeah, it's really hard knowing like people know what's coming. Like even the nurses and stuff like that, they kind of talk low and they try to make sure like nobody knows your business. And I would say that like even though it was a terrible experience, I think that the people the doctors that did be in the process with us were very kind to us and to Bane, and like they basically scheduled us the last person so that like we were the last people in the room and in the vet, or the clinic that day, so we didn't have to at least for me, I didn't have to bury my face and like come out crying or anything like that. So like it was very painful, of course.
They asked like what we wanted.
Yeah.
We wanted from him. So.
Yeah. So we have his little paw print,
I was thinking of clay.
It's clay. It's a clay paw print of his massive, Steph was showing me what they look like. And so usually in the pictures that she showed me, it's a huge clay paw print, and then like the paw print is like right in the middle, and it's like tiny or whatever. Bane's takes up the whole thing. Like his paw was massive.
So the bottom part is like leaning off of it, almost like a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked, but
it was very painful. It was.
We were with him the whole time,
Mm-hmm. I don't think, like speaking for myself, I don't think I would have been able to make it through that day if it wasn't for my wife, because it was so painful to know that you weren't coming home with your baby. Like, he's my fur child and he's our fur child, and it's like it was really hard coming home to a quiet home. Like he was always the first one to like be out of his cage, or you would hear his feet all the time, and it's very quiet. And
yeah,
we feel that, even Sky for the first 2 to 3 weeks of him not being here, she was right up our butts. She did not want to do anything else but like sit next to us or be next to us, and she slept in his spot for a while. She only liked sleeping in his spot, and now so we're on the couch. Bane would always sit in a specific area of the couch. She does not go over there. She very rarely lays over there or like goes over there. I mean, none of us do really. Like, it's very rare to see us sitting over there or doing anything over there.
True.
But it's very sad. We lost a part of us, a part of our hearts, and I mean, he will never be replaced. It's just really sad that, we only had him for a short amount of time, and he impacted us so much. Even our friends, when we told them that like he's not with us anymore, they were like, he was so great. Like, he was such a good dog.
Yeah.
And they all feel for us, and, you know.
And they knew what was going on. Like,
yeah.
During that time, but they were just like, when the hell did that escalate? Like, okay, he's been like, you know, with his jaw, that's why. And they were like, he's been like that the whole time. I'm like, yeah. I mean, as you guys probably can see him, like, he, you know, when he puts his face to the camera and stuff, he's, you know, not like, he's not like ever like painting his mouth wide open or nothing, anything like that. But, you know, things happen.
Yeah. But we know that he had, what I feel like he had a full life. He, you know, he always loved seeing a camera. Whenever we pointed the camera at him, he loved it. He was in TikTok since the moment we've had him. And, you know, like, he was something very special to us, and he will never be forgotten.
Yeah.
So we know that he's happy where he is now, and we're sure that he's eating all the ice cream and all the treats wherever he is, with his mouth fully open so he can play and chomp at things and be funny. Because even when he had his mouth and his mouth was closing, when he would play fight, especially with Steph, he would try to bite her, and he would get enough skin to actually bite, and he would get himself into so much mischief. He was known for knocking over all of our plants all the time.
Yeah, knock over all our plants, knock over stuff in general.
He had no understanding of how his tail worked. Never. He thought that he was small when he wasn't. He would sometimes lay on us while we'd be sleeping, and we'd wake up because he was straight on our chest, massive as he was, taking off all the airspace that we had.
Yeah.
Poor Steph, he used to sleep in her back, and that was his spot. Those are the good memories.
In my back or in my legs, because I sleep like this a lot.
Yeah.
So like 70 always enjoys, because she be up here and stuff. Oh girl, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'd be sleeping like this, or I sleep like that, and he would always like lay right here, until I'm knocked out, and then after I'm knocked out, he would and then literally push me over and lay in my back.
Yeah.
So.
That's why we ended up getting a king size bed in the first place, because
we had a queen. Well, we had a king because we need more. But.
Yeah. We
had a queen for forever, because it was just, you know, it's like us two, we're little, we sleep, like, we cuddle for the, you know, I would say for the most part, but pretty much all the time. So it's like, we only really take up this little space. But with like Bane and stuff, and obviously it's just nicer to have a bigger bed, but with Bane, it was just like impossible. I'm like,
she never has personal space.
Yeah.
But even with Sky, like Sky now, we'll find her sometimes that she's not in between us. She'll be in his spot, and we know that she misses him too. We'll catch her sometimes where she's like really quiet or not really wanting to do much, and she just, you can tell
right now. This is just her nap time.
It's her nap time. From like noon to about 6 is nap time, and then she's up and doing whatever. But
I would say noon to like 3 or 4, but yeah.
But and then her bedtime is strictly at 9 p.m. So
oh yeah, facts.
That's about it. But yeah, that's why you haven't seen our other little baby walking around here.
Yeah, I'm sure he's walking around here in spirit, but we just wanted to share that with you guys, you know, let you know what's going on. I know it's going on for forever, because right now we're like in August, and this has been since April, but you know, it's just something that was just in our time and for us to deal with privately, you know, as we tell you guys stuff eventually. But it's just for us, I think it's just something that we had to process for real, because it just felt like, you know, even though the situation was like pretty much what he dealt with all his life, kind of, it's like it was pretty stagnant and like the same, and we were all chilling, and all of a sudden it was just like boom, it took a turn for the worse, and then boom, his mouth just locked shut, and boom, we just have to make this decision right then and there. So I think it was just a little overwhelming, but you know, so like I said, so we wanted our time and our privacy, but we definitely wanted to share that with you guys, and because, you know, some of you asked like where the other dog is, and so we just felt like right now it's gonna be a good time to share it. So that's why we wanted to share and just kind of let you guys know where we're at, and our dog is, you know. Oh. It's okay. Yeah. But alright guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's like a little sad and probably a little drawn out or longer than we wanted it to be, but definitely wanted to tell you guys all the whole process instead of just saying he died and not give you guys any details, because you guys are like family, and you know, any family member in our household is like an extended family to you. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We thank you guys for supporting us throughout this time, supporting us with our dogs.
Yeah.
And we just appreciate you guys, and like I said, just wanted to put you guys in a loop, and let you guys know what's going on, and just because, like I said, you know, it's just felt like it was good, you know, it was right to talk about it now. Yeah. So anything else from you?
I don't excuse me, I don't think I have anything else other than thanks guys for watching out the whole video, and we appreciate you guys. We're loving the love that you guys are giving us here on YouTube. So again, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, we appreciate you watching our growth, and ask that you please continue to subscribe and like our stuff. Every video, you know, we're trying to get them to at least 100 likes. It's odd to say let's get this video to 100 likes, but just drop some likes on this. Drop some comments. We would love to see some, you know, some more supporting and words of encouragement. So all the love counts, but liking videos does help us reach other viewers, which is what helps us grow as YouTubers and creators on this platform, and of course on our journey to 100K subscribers that we talked about.
Yeah.
All right.
Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Because you know we keep it lit, no quick.
Hey.
Bye.
Make you go lovey-dovey. Your body on me make you go lovey-dovey.